Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, hello. Hey, yes, I can. We are live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I thought I'd have to get my
Hey, can
headphones,
you?
but can you hear me?
Oh, it's so good to meet you. Yes, I can hear you.
Finally.
It is so good to meet you. Seriously. Oh my goodness. I've seen your name online for so long, and I've been a huge fan since before we
Oh,
ever
thank
got
you.
together on the project we're going to talk about today. So, yes, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Realm of Darkness too,
Uh,
because there's some amazing, amazing authors in that. So I am very thankful I was invited to join.
Oh, me too. It's been so surreal. And like you said, there's so many amazing authors that are in the set. And thank you for whoever's watching live on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or watching the replay. We will be answering your questions live today, and we've got some that were pre-submitted. But before we get into really the questions, K.C. Freeman. K.C. is a multi-award winning, internationally acclaimed author of fantasy. So the Greylyn series being really your trophy series, I think, right?
Yeah, it's my debut series under my name. Beforehand, I'd done a couple of anthologies, and I was a ghostwriter before that. So it was my first series. So I'm very proud of it.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about it and hear about what you're writing and your Realm of Darkness project. But before we get into books, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, K.C. Freeman. I'm a mother of five. I used to have a regular, I would say 9 to 5 job, but it was more a 7 to really, really late job. I wasn't seeing my kids. So when we got the opportunity to move, I told my husband I want to stay home with the kids. Well, that was more work actually than the job. But I loved it. But once I got to school, I was like, you know what? I don't want to go back to that. But what do I want to do? Because I'm a little bored. I don't like housekeeping, any of it. So I was like, hey, wait a minute. I used to write. I used to, like, when I was a kid, that's all I did. Is on my mom's, like, electric typewriter, punching out like little stories and poetry and this and that. And I'm like, why don't I
Wow.
do that again? So here I am, like, finally writing, finally doing what I wanted to do when I was like 3.
So, how long did it take you to like start writing and actually put out your book the first time? Was that like several years? Was it relatively quick?
It was. It took a few years because I don't know if most authors do this when they're first writing or even throughout, but you start writing it and then you go back to edit it, and then you edit it again. And then I think I was on like 34 versions of Greylyn, the first book, before I would let anyone look at it. Like I didn't have beta readers, no one was looking at this thing till I thought it was perfect. And yeah, it took probably 5 years from the time I started writing for myself to let the baby
Wow.
go.
It's
Thankfully,
seriously,
I
it's
can write
raising a
faster.
child at that point.
Yeah, it's my baby. It's my book baby.
Wow.
Graylin will always be my book baby. Because that story was in my head when I was a kid, and it flourished and came out more once I actually sat down to write it.
I love that so much. And so you've got several awards, and if anybody's interested, you can see Casey Freeman's Amazon to check out all of her books and also her social media links there in the description box. But really, what started that process? Did you have to go seek out contests? Did somebody contact you? It was like, hey, we want to submit your book for nomination. How did that work?
Well, been trying to figure out how to get my book out in front of more people, and I saw that authors that had award-winning, uh, won this award, then won that award. It was like another way to promote. So when, I don't know who sent the first invite to me to apply, it was probably a while back, but I had won another one. It was the Godiva Awards. I forgot what year that was. And that sort of put me on the path. So I started getting more things popping up like, hey, would you like to put your story in for this award? And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I couldn't imagine getting it. I was like, well, it doesn't hurt to enter, right? And so I put Greylyn out there and said, here you go. And luckily, somebody liked it.
I think that's such a good point. I've heard a lot of authors, and this is a question that I actually have on my frequently asked questions when it comes to awards, that there's this wondering, do you go for an award because you want to be traditionally published? And if not, why else would you go for an award? And I don't know. I'm really curious to hear sort of your mindset. I know you said it was to get more visibility for your book. Did getting the award really start to boost in the beginning, or did you have to build up more books and then it started playing a factor?
I think I found the key is that you have to have all the other books. I will go ahead and forewarn other authors. I did go traditionally published at first, and during COVID, we were on schedule to get the next one out, but things kept getting delayed with the publisher. And then finally I'm like, okay, it's been over a year since the first book. No one's going to wait a year for my second book in a series. They're just going to write me off. And they're like, well, we're not doing so good. We're thinking of closing. We'll get back to you. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So a few months later, they're like, yeah, we're closing. So it was like, all right. I waited a year to put out my second book when all three were ready, waiting on this. So I went from traditionally published to an indie author. And honestly, I prefer having more control over it this way, because I would not have left everyone waiting over a year for a second book. That was crazy. I like having control. I'm a Capricorn. I'm
so you have the reverse story of what we see.
I had to have control of it.
Well, especially when it's a story so near and dear to your heart and one you've carried with you for so long. Yeah, definitely. I love that it's sort of the opposite, because I think when you're indie, sometimes you get caught up in, I have to be traditional, I have to be traditional, I want to go traditional. It's like the big gold trophy, the big golden trophy at the end. And then to see somebody who comes out of it and enjoys going indie is very encouraging too.
Yeah, I prefer it. I like having,
how did you come across the Realm of Darkness box set? I know that you mentioned being invited.
Yeah, I don't even remember how I got invited. Yeah. Another one of my friends, authors who I'm really, really close to, we do a lot of collaboration. I'm actually her editor too. So, RA, if you're on today, hi. Yes, I'm going to edit the rest of your work this weekend, I promise. But she sent it to me and said, you really want to do this? I'm like, are you sure I really want to do this? I'm like, do you really want to do this? She's like, trust me on this. I'm like, okay, well, if we'll do it together, we do a lot of things together. If I'm going to go one way, she's going to go, and same thing. If she's doing something, I'll try it out too. So she sort of nudged me and said, hey, you should apply for this. And I did. And it's been great. It's going to be the perfect platform to take off flight for Jasper's story. So I'm really excited about that one coming out.
I'm super, super excited to read your story in the set. Then I know if you're watching and you've been following Realm of Darkness, you may have already seen some reviews popping up for Renegade Angel, which is K.C.'s book in the set, on Goodreads. And those are your advanced readers, right?
Yes. I had a small group applied for art copies, but apparently it's gaining more steam because I have another book I'm working on. I asked for beta readers and I couldn't keep up with the applications. I'm like, all right, great. stick around for ARC reading so you can actually do the reviews. But yeah, I actually put out a post because I was, and I hate to say it was a 3-star review of Renegade Angel, but there was a comment in the review about it was too much, how did she put it, like dark humor for her taste. I'm like, that's what I was going for. I succeeded. Thank you.
See, and those reviews are so helpful. It's, I love a 3-star review as much as I love a 5-star review because I feel like they tell the readers, here is what the book is. And then the other readers can use that as a guide of, oh, well, I like dark humor, so that'd be perfect for me. And then other people who don't like dark humor will know, okay, well, maybe there's a different book in this set. Maybe you want to go for one of the ones that have like the sweeter romance, because this is a set of 40 books, so there's something in there for everybody.
I've read a few of the stories, and it is all across the spectrum as far as like the supernatural elements, the spice level, the heat level. And you're getting everything in there. I don't think there's any story in there that's going to be similar to each other. So if you don't like the dark humor in my story, you're going to love something else.
That's right. And I love that people can get all of them for the 99 cents while it's on the pre-orders. Like, okay, we're giving you 40 full-length books, and you can have all 40 of them for the 99 cents, which is great because you can meet authors you haven't read. Like, I have not read every author that's in the set with me yet, and when the set comes out, it'll give me a chance to read everybody's different books, which is fantastic. So what made you decide to go with Renegade Angel for the set specifically? Because that's a really tough decision.
I was warring with myself over it because the character from Renegade Angel is Jasper, and he's in the Greylyn series. He's sort of a side character, but he's enough of a character of his own. He really needed his own story. And I didn't really want to wait to get that out. I thought if I can get Jasper to more people this way and have the rest of the books sort of ready to go like a month later, 2 months later, then that's perfect. And Jasper needed to be written like now. Like when I finished off with Greylyn, he's like, me. He wanted a story written, and he's fun. He's so much fun. Greylyn is a little more serious. But this guy is just fun. He is off the charts, wild, crazy, sexy. And he has a very dark sense of humor. So I love him. He's probably my favorite character.
I cannot wait to meet him in this book, seriously. So can you give us any spoilery type things? Like, is there a way, I know you said you made a post for ARC readers, and that's probably closed. So is there a place that maybe people can read, like, your first chapter, or
we do have the first chapter.
Spoilers?
Is there a place where I can post it?
Like, what's the Steam level of your book?
The Steam level. It's steamy. It's like Greylyn was more sweet, sort of build up, but you didn't actually get them doing anything. There's plenty of the doing in Jasper. It's detailed, but you couldn't write Jasper and not be. You could not. But there is a link to the first chapter. Hold on, let me see if I can find it on my computer real quick. Sarah, yeah, there's a chat thing. I can post it. Hold on, let me get it for you.
Yeah, I think it's in the book boyfriends group, right?
Oops. I don't know what I just did there. I hope I didn't just erase that.
Oh.
Here we go, I think. Okay, yeah. But it's a very short first chapter because I meant to keep it the story a lot shorter than it was, but it kept going. And I couldn't actually end it, so it is going to be a series. There's going to be a part 2 and maybe a part 3. But
that's awesome.
It's hot, it's steamy. We've got guardian angels, we've got telepaths. We've got crazy, insane gods and goddesses like thrown in with the whole thing too, and all that set around a rodeo. I think you froze on me, or I froze, one or the other.
There we go. Okay. Sorry. It's really stormy where I am today, I guess, and so it's like my internet is just really acting up.
Now, is that a backdrop there, or is that your real house? Because that is amazing.
Oh no, I wish. This is a background.
Okay. I love your background. I want to live there.
Thank you. So compared to Greylyn, and then looking at, Renegade Angel, which one has been harder to write?
Greylyn was harder to write when I got to the end, because when you write the end, it's done, it's gone. You say goodbye to all the characters that have been the voices that are running around your head for the last 8 years or so. So it's like a goodbye. I didn't want to write the end. So I kept I delayed. I did. I was like, well, what if I would do this with it? Maybe I could go for a 4th book. And I'm like, no, the story needs to end. And like I said, Jasper is just fun. He's fun to write. He's a card. I would totally fall in love and worship him if he was a real person. Don't tell my husband that.
What stays on the live stream? What happens on live stream stays on the live stream.
Thank you.
Unless your husband watches the live streams. Oh goodness. So you are a full-time author then?
If you can call it full-time. With the family stuff, taking care of my mom, everything, I write when I can. I try to make a habit of so much time a day and treat it as a business for full-time, but it's hard with everything going on.
Oh yeah.
I'm also an editor, so that takes up some of my time too, but writing is my passion. It's what I want to do. I will never, if I can help it, knocking on wood, I won't have to go back to an actual office or cubicle someplace else doing something I don't like to do. I can just be here and write.
Yeah. Super mom, super daughter, super writer, and then a wife in there too. So it's like everything, and then editors. So can people hire your editing services? Is that something you do for other writers?
They can.
Only work with a certain
I haven't been promoting it or going out asking for, I haven't been marketing myself as an editor just because I kind of got greedy and I wanted to focus on my writing. But yeah, I actually even have a Facebook page. It's K.C. Freeman Professional Editing. If anyone needs an editor, look me up on Facebook. It'll have a way to contact me and I can get you whatever information you need. And I'm actually edited one of the authors that's going in the box set. She trusts me with her baby. So I'm really excited about that one. Actually, I think I talked about it earlier. She's been sending her stuff to me. I'm like, I'm getting on it. It's like,
I mean, some of us, I know my editor is just sitting there going, please just finish the last revision. Please, so I can get to my editor. If you're watching this and maybe you're a reader or you're a writer who's never done a box set, box sets are very similar in feel, I think, to traditional publishing in that, okay, we've got deadlines. You can't just say, I'm not putting this out right now, something else is, you've got a whole team of, in this case, 40 other people going, yeah, August 1st, TikTok.
And I just realized my story's done, everything's done, I haven't sent it in.
Oh no.
I've been done for over a month now and I didn't send it in. What is wrong with me?
Yeah, get that off your plate and be like, whew. All right, just watch everybody else. And
Oh, yeah, let's get on to, getting the next story ready. So when that one comes out, if they want some more, I'll give them some more.
that's right. So yeah, if you're watching live and you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I've only got one or two other pre-submitted ones here, and then we'll shift to whatever the people who are viewing live have to ask. But so Realm of Darkness comes out in October. The Greylyn
Mhm.
series is out now, so people can go. They can read your whole series today. What comes next after October? I heard you say another book, book 2.
Another book, book 2 for Jasper, Renegade Angel 2. I haven't come up with the title yet. It still eludes me. And I'm also working on a Lucifer story. That's my pet project right now because it's let's go. The characters in my head decide who's getting time with me, and they were the
Right.
loudest. And we're like, okay, we're doing this. So been writing that. It's actually in beta right now. As I'm writing, I'm sending it out, and people are reviewing it. So far, everyone loves it. I don't know if they're just being nice or whatever, but that one's going to be super steamy too. Like, of course, you have to be super steamy. You're talking about
Yay!
Lucifer, for goodness sakes. He's got to turn up the volume. So I'm going to have that one come out, and then the second Renegade Angel one, I'm going to try to stagger them. So there's going to be like every couple months, one's going to be coming out. Of course, it helps if I can get time to write. Like it was supposed to go to the editor. As editors do have editors, and I highly recommend any author. I don't care how good you are with grammar and everything. Get an editor.
Yeah. Because there's page blindness. And
yes,
that's what I tell people all the time. Like, you see a book too many times, even if you're editing for somebody else. If I'm editing for someone and I'm like, okay, I have now made over 40 changes per page. When you're done, go get a proofreader. Because that way, if I missed anything, a fresh set of eyes will catch whatever was left. Because your brain's just like, autocorrect.
Yeah. Your eyes deceive you. Like, your brain reads what's supposed to be there, even if it's not there. Okay, I forgot what I was saying before the whole editing thing.
So, are you a chronological writer then? Like, you have one writing, you have one at a time writing, one at a time editing, one at a time beta, like that kind of cycle, or are you writing multiple things at once?
I prefer to write one at a time, just because, like I said, the voices in my head are the loudest. So if I'm trying to write something that's not speaking up to me, then it doesn't come out as well. I was trying to force a different story for a few months that I had said was going to be my next story. And I just had to stop and go with the one I'm writing now because it wasn't coming out because my brain just couldn't handle it. It's like, nope, we're doing this one. So I prefer one at a time just so nothing gets messed up. I know there are authors out there that can write, 5 different books and different series all at once, and I'm like, I can't. I don't have enough brain power left over from all the other stuff. 5 kids, the dog, and all that to devote to it.
I second that. I made the mistake of trying to do 3 in 3 different series earlier this year and quickly found that will not work. So I'm back to one drafting at a time.
You gotta stay sane when you're writing. And if you're doing too much, you're gonna burn out because you're gonna have ADD.
Oh yeah. Well, this has been such a pleasure having you on. I know you're so busy, and I really appreciate it so much. If you're watching and you have not read, I don't know if I can get it to show without a glare. Here is Rekindled, which is the book 1 of the Greylyn series, but there's also some others. You should definitely check out K.C.'s work. And if you haven't already pre-ordered the Realm of Darkness box set, it is up on everything. It's up on Kobo, Google, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble. The link to that should be in the description box as well. There's a promo going on for the set where it's like if you pre-order in May on either Barnes & Noble or Apple Books, some of the authors are giving away 3 different books for free that you can choose from, and you can see all about that on my website, which is www.katherineDgraham.com. But definitely give KC a follow. I just found out that you're an editor today, so I'm going to have to go find your editing page now. I'll try to add that too once I find it to the description on YouTube. But seriously, thank you so much, KC.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I can't wait for Realm of Darkness to come out. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.